Isn't that funny that I was talking about Elon Musk yesterday? About episode 1169. And today, Elon Musk is on Joe Rogan. And he's very boring, so I couldn't listen to that. I mean, talking about stimulating your brain was not a very stimulating conversation, so I said, let's go back and do some work. Because remember, I don't have the 2143. Now, I want to better describe the 110 here, okay? Because, again, there's not 110 stars, we all know that. And there's not really 11 by 9, because there's not full 11 in every 9. And there's not a full 9 in every 11. You know what I mean? It's like we're using 2 rows to become 1 column, and I understand that. So, only thing I want to explain about the math there is that your 9 times your 11. Remember that it's in that blue. So this should be circled. So the result of this should be circled. So that when you actually answer it, this will actually be 100 and that'll be 10. And together that's 110. We can avoid this ambiguous step. So I said to myself, okay, we've looked at the flag as a whole. We've looked at it as a box. We've looked at it as a box in a box. We've looked at it as in a bunch of boxes in this box. We've looked at the other boxes in this box. And then we started looking into the 110 of it all with, they're not circles, they're not triangles, they're not squares. They are pentagram stars. Five-sided star. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but I'm pretty sure I did this a long time ago. But I looked at what it takes to make that guy's belt squeak. Stop. What in the name of... Or is that a saw? That's a car. Wow. Not only the world is broken. Anyways, so... These are stars. They are not circles, they are not squares, they are not triangles. They are stars for a reason. And because I can't look at this and figure out where to get 2143 from, it has to be in the deconstruction of the most complicated element of your flag. Okay? I am not American. I'm trying to make you more American. Now, how's that for a nice guy Ottawa thing to do? So, we're going to go look. I did some new work into what actually makes up these stars in my childish crayon depiction. So, let's start from the beginning. Can I make it closer? Oh, this is better. Alright, so, again, we're going to follow Roman numerals loosely with this. Now, if you remember that I've talked about the 5-pointed star, you're literally making a 1 of 1 of 7 of 13, I'll explain why, of 110, I'll explain why, and of what I believe I found to be something closer than what I had before, which is nothing, of 2143. To close the loop, to close the feedback loop in the system. Here's how. Okay, you got one flag. Remember, it's a dot. It's the first... You put your pen to the paper. You created a singularity. It is obviously going in and out of the plane, which looks like a one-dimensional line going in and out of the plane. So there is your 1. When you draw the segment, which is a dot connected to another dot via a one-dimensional line, which is infinite number of these dots, or singularities. So we look at the flag, and now we looked at the blue area, which is kind of like a flag within the flag. So you have a 1 of 1 of, and to break it down, you would actually have 2 dots and a line. But the line doesn't have an end. Like, this is infinite in both directions, let's say. It has to be contained by these 2 unique cells. Okay? So that's obviously your I, that's obviously your O, that's like your point blown up. That's your line, and then you got your V, because that's kind of like a V here. So if I were to break this down, you have a V, line, dot, 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 which I have here, VII, dot, dot, dot. Now, if you take off, the intermediate, like we have the highest level intermediate, lowest level. If you take off the intermediate level, it becomes just a V dot dot dot. Or, like, sorry, if you take off the lowest levels, if you take out the dots, I'm an idiot. I don't know how to count to 7. That's your 7. So your V and your I would be your 7. If we don't look at the n-2, let's say. So these are what it takes to build it. It's a 1 of 7, obviously. So you have 7 red lines on the flag. Okay, this should all be pretty good up to now. So we're making this star, but we got to here so far. Okay, Brinky. So you made a 7. Now 7s are important. They're all over the reckoner in very important spots. 7 brings return, according to Pink Floyd, chapter 24. So what do we got here? The next line you go is from here and you go upwards. Well, what you are actually doing is you are making that 13. Because you have a full segment, a full segment, and a full segment, but you have finally created an intersection point. Not a drop of a pencil, but a unique intersection points. So I see this as 3 one-dimensional lines with a unique intersecting point, which is a 13. There are 13 lines total on your American flag. And if you break it down, you have an X here, you have a V here, you have a V here, you have a line here. Okay? You have a line here, you have a line here. And you have the center dot created. And this is how I do it. I don't actually define the segments here. Like, if I defined every segment at the ends here, there'd be a lot more dots. What I decided to do, since it's evolved, and go, okay, we're at n. That's n-1, n-2. Okay? Well, we kind of want that, right? So this might be like, here we forgot the n-2, so maybe here we forget the n-1. If we forget the n-1, because we've already forgotten from here the n-2, if we forget the n-1 here, and take that away, and the n-3, I'd say, there's your 13. And you have 2 V's and a dot. And that could be a circled V and a dot, which would be your 7. A V and I is your 7. So there's kind of like this congruent 1 of 7 of 13 part to make your pentagram star up to here. And I hope you can see that. We're just looking at the dots and lines. So we're going to come back probably because you got to know what happened before you can continue. So let's just assume this is what we get. But we really know we're not looking at that and that. It's a 13. It's 3 big lines creating a new line in the bigger scheme of things. And we only have, at this time, a 7. And it could be said that there's another 7. So it's like you have 2 7s here. So of course 2 7s would give you a 14, but if you were to show that in cellular notation, it would be a circled 13. And there's always 2 13s because the reckoner goes from 76 in the middle, and 13 13, and then 1 1, and then 1 1, and then 69 69. It's all congruent here, which is why I think it's real. No one likes to listen. So this gets a little crazier. So I'm sitting here, I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, like, how is this 110 is what I started with. How is this thing here 110? Alright, I said the original segment has been broken by the 3rd segment previously, which means that the original segment, which was this line, and that's the 2nd one, has finally been broken by the 3rd to get your 13. The original and the 3rd and your 13. The 2nd and 4th segments are now being broken by the 2nd and 1st segments are now being broken by the 4th segment. So the 2nd and 1st, okay, so this is what's happening. So this line and this line, wait, 2nd and 1st, sorry. 1st and 2nd, I should do that. So the original 7 now is being broken twice. That's what I want to highlight. The original 7 is being broken twice by this new line. Okay. Now when I look at this, I can see an X here, an X here, an X here. 3 X's. I see a V here, a V here, and a V here. 3 V's. I see a line, 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 line. 4 lines. And I see 3 intersection points which are uniquely created. Right? So if you take a look at that, that's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. Boom, 52. So I said 52 is not 110. But I'm like on my way there, you know? Like I'm a little plus, like halfway to 100, which I thought was cool. So I said, okay, well, because we are actually breaking the full 7, I said, what the heck was before this? So I go, okay, let's look before this. Ah. So we got, what do we got here? 10, 20, 24. Oh, okay, let's count everything. I want to know everything. Because we've created 2 new points. So maybe we have to know everything from before, is what I thought. So let's just add them up. We got, that's 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 plus 5, 38. Love those numbers. So 38 from the previous plus your 52 is your 90. Now we need 20 more to get our 110. And one thing I thought to myself is interesting is that 2 7s intersecting 3 times, which means that you have a unique 7 here and you have a unique 7 here. But they're intersecting 3 times. So I thought 7, 3, 21, right? Kind of shows where we need to go here. So I go, okay, like let's just take that we got 2 unique 7s intersecting 3 times. So okay, there's your 111, or circled 110. Okay, that's how I kind of took that. I said not only we looked at all the Roman numerals for this one, 52. We looked at all the Roman numerals for everything previous, and now we're actually looking at the numbers being created. And because they're intersecting 3 times, it kind of seems like a multiplication factor. Or be 7, 7, 7, which again is 21. In an addition factor. So, let's just go with that. Let's just say that you get your 38, your 52 for your 90, you need 20. We found our 21. We have 110 or a circled, 111 or a circled 110. Remember that 110 is like 2 110s, because you have 110, or you have an 111, or you have duality of 110s. Okay, this will be important for the next step. So again, your American flag is your 9. The 110 on the American flag are the 9 rows and 11 columns in that blue area, plus a 10 diagonal in the blue area, but you know, 110. You choose to believe what you want to believe. So what I say to myself down here is, okay, we've created actually 2 1 of 7 of 13s, because yeah, you have this 7, that 7 from the original, but then look, your 13 is your 7 with a line going through one of the top pieces. So if this is your 13, as we previously stated, then the new 7 coming from up here and down, because this is the line we're talking about being created, this line right here, and because it's not just 13, it's really doing kind of like 2 13s, is what I'm saying. So the 2 element and the 2 element kind of jives here. So, you know, you be discerning. Okay, so I say when we close the star, we should get our 2143. That's just a blanket statement. Okay, so I said to myself, that's where we're at. Okay, we have 2 unique 7s and we have 3 unique dots. That's how I'd break it down. So in the last one, I could break it down to that, but it's also 2 7s intersecting 3 times. 2 7s intersecting 3 times. This is how 2 unique 7s intersecting 3 times through 21. And I said that's too easy, just 2143. I want to actually get 2143. So I said, all right. What are you actually doing? You're bridging the beginning of the first 7 with the end of the second 7, which is amazing. The beginning of the first 7 and the end of the second 7. I'm going to bridge them. Now, again, showing you this Star Trek logo stuff that's in one of these books that I have. So, are we indeed making a 3rd 7, and are we indeed making a 4th 7? Because there's 2 new 7s makes another 110. What does that mean? It means exactly what this page is talking about. 2 7s makes 110. Okay? Now, if we're going to intersect, we're making a new 7 here, and it's going to be intersecting this 7 2 times. So we're making another 110 circled group, is what I kind of mean by this. So what do you mean you're making a 3rd 7 and a 4th 7? Well, when you're going from here to here and you make a line, the red 7 is a 7. And then this dashed line 7 is also a 7. So in theory, we don't have 3 7s, we actually have 4 7s. And we have 5 intersecting points because it's complete. And 5 and 7 is interesting because you're 0, 5, 7 in the middle of the reckoning. So my ears are perked. I think I'm on the right track. So what is this? Well, this is an X, 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 5 X's. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 V's. And you have, to make a star, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. And you're creating 5 intersection points. So it's a 5, 5, 5, 5. It's like the silos of 55s going down. You have 4 55s going down. Anyway, that's 50, 60, 70, 75, 85. So this totals 85. Yeah, that's not nowhere close to 2143. Okay, so I'm going to take this 85 and this 110. And because you're making 2 new 7s, you're making another 110. And because the completed thing is 85, I decided, let's take those two 110s and the 85 and add them together to get 305. So this signifies 1 7, this signifies another 7 of the 4 7s. 305 times 7 is 2135. Plus 7 is 2142. So now we have 1 7, 2 7, 3 7, 4 7s accounted for. All we need is like a 7 is a 1 to get 2143 kind of thing. And I think that's really close. I think that's really good. So the star itself and the construction of the star via dots and lines of your American flag gives you the 2143 that was previously missing. And it made me do a lot of work today. It's hot in here. I should open my window more. But dude, that makes sense. Okay? There. I'll give you at the end time to look. Because why not? You can do this yourself. I highly encourage it. Now, if you want to write a book about your American flag, be my guest. Okay? This is a point of view. Now, do I find there any use in taking music and dubbing it and doing all that editing for any reason? No, I'm kind of tired of editing right now. My mind's been significantly blowed. Okay, a lot of interesting happened in the last day's videos. Okay, I had a lot of minor characters appear in my videos. One was the garbage truck. That was definitely a comedic factor in that video. And yeah, like the one when I was going through my books, you know, like Joe Rogan says, the way he understands it is that it's the geometric patterns of love and understanding. And that really struck a chord with me because the whole reason I went into the whole gematria and everything is because of trying to understand, and I'm chock full of love. And you know what gave me not the confidence, what encouraged me to continue diving down into this insane rabbit hole was the fact that I kept seeing my kids, my wife, and myself in there. And when I see my wife in my book, she's the only person that I'm afraid of in this whole world. You know, Brock Lesnar can come up to me, and I'll be like, oh shit, this is the way I'm gonna go, eh? That sucks. I don't think I'd be that scared. I'm not really threatened by most people, but just, you know, when you're afraid to disappoint someone, how about that? To not do this would go against everything that, like, all the fibers of my body are screaming this is true. So to not do what I feel is true would be, I don't know, man. I don't know how I deal with that. I wouldn't be able to, period. I gotta get it out. I gotta get it out when it's fresh. So, you know. And to see these beautiful numbers and patterns and happenstance and synchronicities happen when I'm looking into this, you know, way of thinking that could create physically something that can change our experience in this planet for the best. Having absolutely no funding to explore this, and the only way I know I'm going to be right or wrong is if I build it and it works or it doesn't. There is no in between. You can spend eternity debating whether it'll work or not. until it's actually fabricated and made. And, you know, like we're talking about, like Elon Musk is talking about making, like, taking out a piece of skull and putting like 2mm wires and just like implanting your brain so you can do stuff better. Wow, that seems. Now keep it simple, stupid. If you're gonna listen to these people that are like whatever, like influencers of life and everything, and they're making it way too complicated, they're probably wrong. Occam's razor and Kiss. Okay? It's not that hard. It's not complicated. Anyway. I'm gonna go listen to the rest of what boring Elon Musk has to say about nothing. Yeah. Have a good one. But from a certain point of view, I'm a lot closer to identifying the 2143 out of your American flag. Just, you know, saying.